Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Psychic Tarot Show here at the Beyond Mystic YouTube and Rumble channel. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe right here at the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. If you're interested in booking a session with me, you can find me here at the Beyond Mystic Academy. And you can book a 1-hour psychic tarot reading session with me, which includes an overview of the big picture of where you're at in your life right now, taking into consideration all the different aspects and energies going on in and around your personal life, as well as on the world stage, and also looking at your specific questions. You can use the coupon code below to receive a 10% discount, and I am taking bookings next week. So jump on board if you're feeling called at this time. Let's have a look at the week ahead. And hello, everyone. Hi, Frederick, Crypto Blonde, Kitty Boy Rocky, Yvonne, Christina. Lovely to see you all. Welcome from all different parts of the globe. So those of us here in North America, it's Saturday afternoon, Europe, Saturday evening. And if you're in the middle of the night tuning in from Asia or the Southern Hemisphere, it might be tomorrow morning. It might be early Sunday morning. Welcome, everyone. I really feel this sense of family. I wanted to just come on today and say, to me, you are my family. You are my friends. And I hear this so often from clients that are, coming for sessions, and we find so much commonality in our sharing. And I feel like there's something this particular week about sensing how small the world really is and how close we really are energetically. We're almost like tapped into this beautiful frequency, and that allows us to prepare to line up with synchronistic opportunities and meetings. And this energy is, I want to say, on equal sort of ground with a lot of the tear down of the old systems and the old ways. So there is that sense, it's come up in readings this week, of feeling like we are almost gliding through these times. When you're in the air, when everything is up in the air, it is hard to get your bearings, and it's hard to stay balanced and gliding in that purposeful way, because it feels like any kind of winds of change, and there's some pretty big winds and weather going on out there. It feels, we have that sense of vulnerability because of these extreme energies, both physically and metaphysically, and how we feel almost suspended in time and space. This has been a theme coming up this week. What I'm really encouraging everyone to do is to, I practiced yoga for years, and we do this thing where you're feeling like it's really hard to stay balanced, and you focus on something. And that point, I think it's called a drishti point, that point allows you to kind of ground into your inner alignment, which helps you stay integral and keeps you from falling too far one way or the other. So that is somehow a theme for us this week. Let's go on and see what the cards want to say about this. I mean, we're in Virgo season right now, and Virgo, the sign of Virgo, we're in the sun has entered into Virgo as of a couple of days ago, and it'll be there until around the 20th, 21st of September. This is a time historically where we get back to routines, and we get back to focusing on the details of our daily life, our habits, children going back to school. I mean, that's another whole big topic. I'm not necessarily advocating for that, but this season and the energy of the fall, coming into the fall, the beginning of coming into that energy is a lot about getting in touch with our habits, our routines, our lifestyle, and these details. So we've been expanding and getting this big bird's eye perspective of reality. And it's time to get focused on something that grounds you and like something that helps you feel stabilized amidst all of this suspension. All right. Hello, Monica. Hello, Barnlow. Think Molly too. Smolten. Some fantastic names here. All right. Here we go. Starting off on a little bit of a shaky foot. Well, that's what I was just describing. I know I've certainly been put through my paces over the last 3 weeks since the Lionsgate portal. I've had endless unexpected upheavals with vehicle issues and things of that nature, and a lot of unexpected twists and turns. So that sense of being a little out of step could be what a lot of us are struggling with right now. This is the ego. The ego is going, I don't know if I can do this. I'm not feeling very confident right now. The fives are temporary frequencies. The swords are thoughts. And this is a little bit, the five is also the energy of chaos and growth. What happens when we have chaos in our thinking? Yeah, a little bit destabilizing. Let's see how we can support that with where we go with the rest of our inquiry. Okay, so interesting. Now we go into finding some kind of stabilization and security. And it looks like we are again choosing something to focus on. So I'm getting that it could be a very good week to do something very specific in terms of research or completing one major task that's been a bit of a thorn in your side. So again, that ability to channel instead of just going around in maybe a little bit of anxiety or uncertainty loops in your mind, get focused on one thing that you can take decisive action on, because Virgo season is also a time to complete a lot of those things. It's a fantastic time of year to kind of tie up loose ends on your to-do list. And at the end of the summertime, we all have those. During these times, with what we just went through with that full moon and all those intense aspects that Meg was describing, it's like more than ever, we need that grounding of having one specific focus that will help move this energy. Yeah, Labor Day is next weekend. Yes, right? Okay, so here we go. We have in the house of Gemini, interesting. You know, when I was saying that we're in this suspension time, this card is actually about being suspended, hanging in the balance, being in suspense, not having the clear knowledge of exactly where things are headed, what to do next. It's not the most comfortable place, but it is a very fascinating perspective where, as we hang there, you'll notice this character is developing a tremendous amount of inner clarity. You see this halo around their head because the head is hanging as the lowest part and all the blood is rushing down to the head. It's bringing a lot of energy to the mind. So the mind actually expands. I would say giving your mind something to research this week, choosing something that you want to finish on your to-do list, and then doing all the research and detail-oriented work. Virgo is about details, the little details, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and allowing that suspension to not overwhelm you, but to inform you. Yeah, I've also been shown over these last few years, especially, that coming to planet Earth, especially coming here at this time, we've all taken the option for being, the surprise me option, right? It's like if you weren't up for a lot of suspense and mystery and uncertainty, this was not this was not a good planet to come to and not a good time to come into. So on some level, it's like make friends with that deep knowing in your soul that you did choose this. And yes, it's somewhat uncomfortable, but again, I'm being shown yoga. So I don't know if we all need to do a little bit of yoga this week or a lot of yoga. But it is about that contorting yourself in a way into some position that is not necessarily your first go-to of comfort and leisure, but in the discomfort, you start to relax and become more flexible. You actually become stronger, more resilient, more attuned inwardly, more aligned. Yeah. Hello, Florida Nomad. Lovely to see you. Lupo, Yvonne, welcome, welcome. Okay, in the house of home. Home is where the heart is. This is our metaphor for this week. In home, we have divine union, shared reciprocity, balance in the heart. Some way that you are even just temporarily, I want to say, connecting with people you love, things that you love, focusing on love in your home is what I'm getting. Isn't that interesting? Prioritizing time to have meaningful, emotionally intimate sharing connection in your home space this week, whatever that looks like. Home is where the heart is. We want to ground into the safety of, could be a good week to ask yourself, who are my top 2 people? And to find a way to spend some quality time with them this week, either in your home or their home or on the computer in each other's homes over a Zoom call or something. It just feels like the sharing of that mutual care is going to feel really comforting this week. We don't always get that kind of mutual care in our closest relationships. A lot of times we kind of take each other for granted in our close relationships, or everybody's too busy, or we don't just stop to think about how valuable these close connections are. So this is a week to really tune in to that phrase, home is where the heart is. Okay. And coming in, oh gosh, I have to say, I really love it when the high priestess shows up in the house of Leo. And I'll tell you why. She is a few things. I'm actually feeling almost teary about this. She is connected to our higher self. She is kind of the guardian of the gate between the conscious and the subconscious. And she is also the one that opens the doors for us to connect with our higher self, with whatever spirit guides, allies. She's in the heart. Leo is a sign of the heart, right beside the Cancer house and home. We got home is where the heart is. And then we've got the energy of the heart is being guarded by the high priestess, who is going to invite spirit guides, ancestors, dreams that really help us connect to our heart energy, that help us feel loved and supported. So, like I said, when I see the high priestess in the house of Leo, I feel very encouraged that I'm not going to feel alone this week. That dreams will be very, very supportive, almost therapeutic around our hearts. Lots of heart healing. The high priestess is, you could say someone has your back. Well, the high priestess has your heart, meaning she's guarding it and she's like saying, time for these healing energies to come in. And just like I say that I do my channeling through the bandwidth of the heart, therefore, I'm not worried about where the messages are coming from. If they're coming through that power neutral frequency of love that's aligned with the greater good of all beings, they're going to be valuable, empowering, supportive messages. And that's what this is showing me. It's like, wow, we've got the high priestess on our side in our heart center this week. And Virgo is on a mission to clean up the mess. Clean up the mess. This is in the world stage. This is in our personal lives. So a lot has come down. A lot has come down in these last few weeks, months, and years. There's quite a lot of messiness, is what I'm hearing. So we're going to be focusing on our little microcosm and intending that how we feng shui our messiness of our minds, our feelings, our relationships, our physical stuff, our to-do lists that are run wild and grown 10 legs. That's what mine looks like. That messiness being kind of cleaned up this week. Obviously, we can't clean it all up, but there's a real concerted effort to take action on the things that are sort of lingering. And this is pretty normal at the end of the summer. It's like, this is what happens. Our energy's been really outward for the summer. There's been a lot going on in the world stage. We know there's a lot coming up here, heading into the fall, October, November, all the chaos in the US around where we're going into this fall and potentially winter. So we want, if you think about having tasks to accomplish, jobs to do, we want a clean desk to work from, don't we? We want things to be sort of organized. Virgo energy is perfect for that. Perfect. So we're going to utilize the energy that's available to us right now. Coming in early September, new moon in Virgo. I know Meg's going to talk about this. And so we're getting a little bit of a head start on cleanup time, get organized time. Not done with a woe is me or feelings of shame or discouragement around this. It's actually the good thing about when these energies show up in our wheel. It means that it's going to feel good. Like 2 weeks ago, this wouldn't have felt good because this isn't where we were at. This wasn't what we were meant to be focusing on. It's going to feel good. You ever get those times where you're at working on things on your list and you're like, oh, this feels amazing. I'm actually getting stuff done and it feels good. Well, that's this. And we're sending that cleanup energy out into the collective energy, into the collective consciousness, into the world events, the outer realm. Relationships, well, gosh, here we have down at the bottom of our wheel, 2 of Cups. That feels like, again, home is where the heart is. And with regards to partnership, relationship, commitments, this can even be agreements around anything that takes you into more of a contractual long-term arrangement, be this, a living situation, a business proposal, um, relationship, personal, intimate relationship that you commit to that has, some sort of official version, a marriage, an agreement, a title that like your um that sort of energy, we are doing some, let's call it trials in that realm. This is the Explorer card. I call it the Buffet Sampler card. It can be the, trials, not the bad trials, not the I'm putting you on trial, more the, yeah, like you're just giving something a chance, right? You're just going to check it out. Sometimes my brain is like, what's the word? What's that word I'm looking for? You'll tell me. Oh, thank you, Brink Molly. Thank you. Press the like, share, subscribe button. That would be so, so awesome. So yeah, we've gone down around the bottom of the wheel, and so far it looks like we are feeling a bit suspended and a bit like, how do I feel grounded? How do I come into alignment with myself? There's so much uncertainty. Everything feels heightened. And then we're saying, okay, we're going to make friends with this suspension energy and use it to our advantage to strengthen, help us become more flexible, help us become more self-aware. And we're going to also direct our thinking into taking action to clean up some of the loose ends in our lives, especially around anything that impacts your finances, business, that kind of thing, because we have that Page of Swords, which is a lot about also sending and receiving messages, correspondence. Getting a lot of correspondence caught up this week could be very good, especially around money, business, that sort of thing. Okay. Wow. I'm just going to move this over a little bit so you can see. Yep. House of Scorpio, we've got the Hierophant. The Hierophant in the House of Scorpio. So this is tradition. This is, the Hierophant represents those outer authorities that we all defer to, right? Governments, state, institutions, that sort of thing. And Scorpio is about the deep revelation or transformation of those things. So, yeah, it looks like there will be governments, institutions, and those things that we have held in consensus, the narratives that we've held in consensus, that will definitely be on the hot seat this week. So let's see what's on the other side of that. I mean, we've got this 3 of Wands on one side. So I'm hearing no rest for the wicked. Like it's just going to be continual this week. More things coming out, more things coming to the surface. Scorpio was a lot about keeping everything really deep, right? Deep hidden, secretive stuff coming up. That's going to continue to Sort of like the ripples are going to continue to reach out over the next 3 months in a very big way. So there could be a huge turn of events this week that don't really finalize this week, but they may finalize in 3 months. But there's going to be something that creates a permanent ripple. And this is in the realm of governments, institutions, that sort of energy. Okay. Sagittarius. King of Swords. Look at all the swords here. Mind, gosh, really working. Virgo is ruled by Mercury, like Gemini. Virgo works with dealing with one detail at a time and completing stuff. Gemini works with let's look at everything all at once and just keep adding more. So we're in Virgo time, and it's like somehow getting larger scale vision and planning underway. So they're saying it's a lot more about enough talking about things, at least finalize a proposal, like get an actual plan written down, take some kind of more specific, like not just talk, but action, at least in the realm of clear communication, intention setting, all of this energy with this cleaning up details, business plans, strategic models, all that sort of stuff. The stuff that a lot of us just kind of go, ooh, the fine line, the fine print stuff that we don't like to focus on. Some of us don't. Some Virgos really do like it. Some Virgos don't like it. But regardless, it isn't even about if you like it or not. It's about it's going to feel better than usual. Even if you despise that stuff, this is 1 week where it could feel kind of good to do it, right? Let me know. Let me know by next week how that feels. All right. And another sword. Oh, goodness, everyone. Okay, I had a deck years ago that, there's the 4 suits in the tarot. There's swords, which is thoughts, wands, which is energy, creativity, cups, which are emotions, feelings like water in a cup, and pentacles, which are like the diamonds of the playing card deck. They're like stones, they're like rocks, they're physical material things. So swords are thoughts, they move really fast. We want them to move fast. Thoughts are not meant to stick there and continue to like bore into you and distress you. They're meant to be temporarily used for perspective, for analysis, for problem solving, and then back into energy, feelings, productivity, sharing, right? Thinking is kind of overrated, and we really over depend on it in our culture in these times, for sure. Well, in the tarot, thinking is represented as swords. Thoughts are swords, and swords hurt. They cut, right? So we know our thoughts can hurt us more than just about anything. And so there was a deck years ago that I had, and they had changed the different suits into different things. And they actually had the swords represented as feathers, because it's also the element, thoughts are connected to the element of air. And feathers are on birds that fly in the air. So they put feathers instead of swords. And I really liked that feeling of the lightness of feathers. Swords feel kind of cumbersome and so permanently destructive, right? Our thoughts can be so destructive. Our words can be so destructive. Whereas if you you slash someone with a feather, I mean, it might tickle them, right? So I just want you to feel the lightness coming into your thoughts this week. And especially, this is feeling like we are being basically hemmed in, fenced in by the belief. This is up in the house of Capricorn, self actualization, life purpose. It doesn't feel like we can feel very effective in actualizing our purpose. And you believe me, you are not alone in feeling this. Even people who have such purpose driven lives and who really have found a lot of amazing ways to self actualize are feeling suspended this right now. There's a lot of like uncertainty. So instead of seeing these swords fencing us in, like this big metal fence that, will hurt us if we try to get through it, see them as feathers. So those feathers they're there to show us something. It's like a kind of a barrier. They're showing me like wind chimes or something, or those little beaded curtains where you kind of you can see there's a space, there's a barrier between here and there. We have to go through something, but does it have to be this prison like, restriction of these really hard thoughts? Can we not turn our perspectives, our thoughts into feathers? It's just showing us where we are. We've got to move through these limiting thoughts. Yeah. Aw. So, thoughts are only as real as the reality we give them. Stop thinking about it. You stop making it real in your mind. Thank you, Edward. Yeah, these feathers, these energies which show us, and I love feathers, I mean, in a lot of different indigenous traditions around the world, feathers are used as ways to send prayers, because they move with the wind. They move with our breath. They move with our gentle thoughts flowing forward and back. They're not this rigid barrier, and yet they're beautiful. And they show us where we are, where the boundaries are, but they're gentle, gentle boundaries. So there's, I guess, in a way, we're looking at not taking our thoughts so seriously. And this comes in when we look at, a lot of people saying, I feel fenced in. I can't get out. I don't see a way out anymore. I used to be able to think and strategize my way, and now I don't see a way. Well, we're turning that fence into these feathers that, yeah, there will be something to move through, but by the time we're ready to move, it will be gentle. Okay. Now we go to friends. Friends, community. This is also working together, teamwork, team building. Wow, team building. Okay, this is in the house of Aquarius, Ace of Wands. Aces are yeses. Aces are fun. Aces are new beginnings. This is the Ace of Wands, the Ace of creative energy. Something is coming to life, something that may grow over the next year that is a group energy. And it may be coming to us. This is our spirit guides, our ancestors, our dearly departed loved ones. And this collaborative group team building piece is coming to us. It's being gifted to us. So some kind of team will emerge this week. Be curious about that. Something's starting, just the beginning of something. I love it. So as you're up here thinking, I don't know how I'm going to do what I thought I was supposed to do. I don't know what I'm meant to do about what's going on in the world. I don't know what my purpose is going to be. I don't see a way through. Meanwhile, we have in friendship, team building, just spontaneously happening. In partnership and deeper commitments, we have exploration, trial periods, and in home, we have heart, sharing from the heart with our closest people. Maybe your closest people aren't people at all. Maybe they're four-legged friends. It's a real celebration of the heart in the home sanctuary this week. Okay, last card, drum roll. Four of Pentacles. Oh, I mean, it could be a lot worse. It does feel, when we add that Four of Pentacles, it's in the House of Pisces. So it is our, inner landscape, our deepest subconscious landscape. And we do see here in this week's spread, with this being on hold, still in suspense, in suspension, across from this King of Swords that's looking quite determined to do some cleanup and get some stuff accomplished. We've got this feeling of, being sort of hemmed in. And then we've got this inner sort of drive to stabilize, to nest, to find our groundedness, to find our sort of stable base. It feels like it could feel somewhat constricting this week. It could feel like not a huge amount of fun and expansion. And also acknowledging that this is temporary. This is temporary. Next week could look very, very different. So at least for the next 4 days, it feels important to ground, to stabilize. And that means getting connected with the things that you've been ignoring that relate to your security, finances, those details on your to-do list. That feels quite significant this week. And in the middle, Seven of Wands. Miles to go, Seven of Wands, the Valor card, holding the high ground. You're doing it. We're succeeding. We're not alone. We're back to that weaving together, feeling the interconnectedness, and this possibility of a new team building experience is pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting. That's going to get very much stronger, even over the next 3 to 6 months. This is going to grow, grow, grow. Yeah. Okay. Release worry about wealth, Barnlow. Yeah, right? It's double this one. On the one hand, and if it was really badly aspected, I mean, it's certainly badly aspected here with our ego, but I'm actually seeing it even more so stabilizing. And it isn't about hanging on too tightly to what you have and being really afraid of growth, of change, of exploring new ways to do things differently, different types of economics. But it is about grounding yourself, and finding some stability, and also focusing perhaps a little bit more on practical things and relationship building are the two big points this week, especially practical things related to business stuff, financial stuff, paperwork, basically. Correspondence and paperwork feels really big this week. Ooh, wow. I just pulled a couple of side cards here, like a little bit of a what's ahead, what's kind of down the road, what's around the corner. What are we doing all this work for? Like what is all this about? And boy, this feels really exciting in terms of there's some collaborative building projects, building wealth, building like contributionism. There's some new way of being with sharing our resources in the future, which is just starting to kind of take root. It's almost like we're building the stability of the container to grow this new economic paradigm in. So that's pretty exciting. And I'm supposed to pull two more, a top and a bottom, to finish us off. Oh boy. This is a lot of money that is kind of gifted to us. So the legacy card, 10 of Pentacles, it's not money that we've earned necessarily, but it's money that we have in our spiritual bank account. It's resources that are owed to us that we receive. So let's say within the next month, we are seeing our first deposits of something that could really open up in October. Well. Sounds pretty amazing. Whoa. Okay, let's connect over here for a second. If you would like to book a session with me, here's where you can find me. Psychic Tarot Reading with Ashala. Use the coupon code below to get a 10% discount on that. Also, please, of course, as always, like, share, and subscribe to the Beyond Mystic YouTube channel. And I want to bring to your attention something else that's here on the Beyond Mystic Academy. So this is this empath course with Jens. I mentioned it last week. This course is still open to registration. I believe it started, it started on August 22nd was the first of 5 live presentations. There are still 4 more of those. The next one is on August 29th. And, the price has been adjusted so that you can come in and receive the benefit of these last 4 modules, which sound just incredible. And I want to just read to you a little bit about what Jens is doing here. Classes covering essential themes for empaths. There's live lectures, guided meditations, practical techniques for managing sensitivity, insights on self-care, relationships, and healing. Wow. So check that out. You can find the coupon the coupon and the link below to go and sign up to receive the benefit of learning how to work with your empathic gifts, because we are going to be called on in the days, weeks, months, and years ahead. Many of you watching are naturally empathic, intuitive, I want to say aware beings. The word sensitivity is a little bit tricky for me because it's gotten a bit of a bad rap, but I like to think about it as extremely activated and aware, really aware and responsive beings. beings that notice a lot, that sense a lot. You know, the old fashioned word sensible, able to sense, have common sense. It used to be common that people were able to tune in to the weather, tune in to be able to spot something that was not aligned or integral from a distance. And I recall when the pandemic began, and I was working up north, and part of the time I was working in this beautiful kind of cooperative farming cooperative store, and a couple of the old time farmers came in, and I'm talking old fellas, old fellas in their 80s, let's say. And they just came in, salt of the earth characters. They would never call themselves empaths or psychics or anything like that, or sensitive men, right? Boy, did they have common sense. Yeah, they were sensible men that could spot what was happening. They just were like, "Oh, yeah, none of this feels right. My instincts tell me, nope, these are guys that have been working out on the land for 50, 60 years. They know, a fox in the henhouse, right?" So I feel like it's so important to reclaim our natural, instinctual ability to tune in. And this is why I'm really appreciating that Jens is offering skills to support all of you learning how to work with that. Have such a beautiful week, everybody. I feel quite encouraged, and I also feel quite put on task to get some things done on my to-do list. I will check in with all of you next week. You can be my accountability partners, and I'll tell you, yes, I got these things done. It feels really good to have something to work towards, specifically directing that energy of the mind to complete these tasks, and assuming it's going to feel good to do that this week. Have a beautiful week. I look forward to seeing you all here next week.